Good morning, good afternoon, whatever time of day it is for you. This is the Legendarium Green Team. We are recording Licanius Book 2, which is the Echo of Things to Come. Is that what it's called?
Yeah.
Echo of Things to Come. Perfect. Okay, we nailed it. This is the first half of the book. We're going to stop at chapter 26, so it's going 1 through chapter 25, correct?
Yep.
Unless somebody didn't read that.
Yep.
I think we're all right. I think we're all on the same page there, literally. Um, we're gonna thank everybody who got us started for this Green Team podcast, and let's jump into the non-spoiler feelings for the book. Let's go with Yeti. What do you think? What are your feelings for this first half of the book? You don't have to give a rating. We can do that at the end of the next episode, but just your general thoughts.
So this time around, I'd say it had definite book two vibes to it, middle book syndrome. I did like it overall. I'm not really a harsh critic with this series. Well, I will critique the series, but like an overall gist, I did like it. I just think there was a lot of lack of movement with the characters in what they were doing. I think even though some characters were moving in geographically, uh, the same thing would happen over and over again, and it just kind of felt like they were stuck in this same
Loop.
I think we all know who I'm talking about, probably. Yes, same loop. So I just think there was just like I just think it was a middle book. I don't really know what else to say after that. There was good and bad, but I think at the end of the day, the author struggled a little bit to tell the story to get to book three and tell the things he needed to tell, introduce characters he needed to tell. And I think he didn't always do it in the perfect way, obviously. And I think sometimes it was just, I don't know, a little imperfect. But overall, I do enjoy it. And I'll say some of the things I did enjoy, but it was a middle book. It's a middle book. It felt like it.
All right. No, that makes sense. I feel similarly, but Mirly, what about you? What did you think?
This book definitely starts with a lot more character building than the previous books, and it's not as fast paced because we sit there and we're going back into a lot of memories for Caden in particular. And again, the other characters don't really seem to go anywhere. Like Yeti said, it's more of a building and understanding of where characters are and trying to give little hints about who certain characters may end up being, or that they have a past that we maybe didn't know about. And it's a lot more character driven than plot driven. There's not really much plot happening.
Yep. Yeah. Yeah. That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, I wanted to call it book two, the flashbacks of things to come.
There were quite a lot of flashbacks. Yeah, I know. Right when things were getting kind of good, and I'm like, all right, here we go, and then it's right back again. Okay. Kip, sorry, I cut you off a little bit. What do you
I think there were actually a lot of plot points, but I don't think many of them were meaningful or were more than like introductory plot points or like it felt like a bit of ping pong.
Yeah, you did mention that with the sword. Sorry. We'll get into the spoilers after.
Specifically around one character, there was a remarkably predictable set of things that happened to him every time he changed locations. He'd go somewhere,
Yeah.
he'd find something, he'd lose something, he'd have a conversation about the thing, and then he'd get the thing back.
Yeah, it was a lot of similar conversations for the first half of the book that just kept repeating. We're like, oh, this is like the third time we're doing this.
Oh, we're meeting a new character who is questionably antagonistic? Okay. They're not going to like actually impede him. Because then he could go to the next place.
Scare him. Yeah, it's like the bully that lifts the kid up by their ankles. They're like, they're not going to drop him. They're just trying to get the change out of their pockets. It's fine. Like, it's just a little light bullying.
So they don't even take the change.
I know, because I think they just pity him. Or sorry, we'll get into the spoilers after.
Yeah, we'll
Okay.
get into that because that is
Yeah.
I want to talk about.
My general thoughts are pretty much the same as everybody else's. I feel like this book is it's trying to just go somewhere, and it's just doing a lot of things all at once. And it's
There were a bunch of characters who got put into mortal danger where I never had any concern whatsoever that they would get hurt.
That's true. Normally by now, I would think book one or even maybe this book two, we'd get a Kill Your Darlings where someone would die to get some stakes in here. Maybe something that was foreshadowed a little earlier. We haven't gotten that yet. Maybe that is
There's
coming.
so much
but
prophecy
as
in this
book
series.
So yeah, there's a lot of stuff going on. So that's pretty much all I got for my general thoughts. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through the recap. We're going to get into spoilers from here on. I'll go a little fast just because, like we said, there's a lot of plot points that kind of happen, even though some of them aren't completely relevant or maybe relevant long term, I guess. They're very relevant short term. So they feel noteworthy to mention.
Yep.
Okay. So we're going to start off with Caden landed in a well, and he learned that Shemaleoth is the real bad guy, and he should experience his Talcamar memories. So that's where this whole book, it looks like, he's going to be in a lot of his recap memories. Davian and Nichelle are training in Tol Shen, and then Caden learns about his past, and his fake wife shows up and murders Asar, and then Caden escapes. So his fake wife is what is her name?
Nethgala, the Ath.
Nethgala, the Ath, yeah. What do we got?
Love her.
The signer, surprisingly, shows back up, stops an assassination attempt on Wur, and directs him to the North Warden's safe, or like the North Warden's safe, an actual object, for an alliance. Caden meets a mecha wolf in Stonehenge next to a forest. Asha goes spying and gets lost. Hijinks ensue. Davian gets knocked out by a mysterious augur. Talcamar learns that he is Malshash. And yeah, that I thought was interesting. And then Talcamar's wife's body was taken over by the Ath. Davian gets caught by Rohan, which is the mysterious augur. Wur fights with his family after surviving an assassination attempt. Davian gets rescued. Caden keeps having memories and keeps losing Licanius to the Venerate, which is all the people he keeps meeting. Wur helps a newly gifted Brashada, so she's back. I know Yeti's very happy about that. Caden learns that the boundary is powered by torture batteries of the Venerate. Davian and gang incapacitate Rohan, and they take care of that augur problem. Wur comes back home to Elenalan with his sister and gets kissed by Brashada, causing some awkwardness, and Caden burdens his past on Princess Kara and then gets a kiss before riding off into the sunset for this half of the book. So that's the recap. We had a lot going on. Some stuff was a little weird, and they didn't really go anywhere. Like, I think also Asha just got lost and then got found, I guess. That was her storyline for this half of the book.
She overheard people.
Things. She did. She overheard them real well.
That's all Asha does.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. You're not wrong. You're not wrong. Okay, so first off, let's just go with Kip. Is there anything you want to talk about plot related wise or anything like that going on right now?
Very minor point I want to start off with. Okay. Rowan, the H is silent in his name.
Oh, so it's Rowan.
Yeah.
It's not Roheen.
Yeah.
Rohine.
Nope. Rowan.
Okay. I wanted like Rohan, like
That'd be great.
Lord of the Rings.
That'd be great.
So.
Okay, so the thing. Where do I start?
The floor is yours.
If you want, we can skip you. We can go to the other
skip
people.
me.
It's okay. Okay. All right, Mirlyah, what do you think?
I have the point that I have is Brashada is back, which you've already mentioned.
Yes. Yeah, that was on my honorable mentions mostly. Is Brashada is back.
Brashada is back, and
what is going on?
Is gifted.
maybe I have not been paying attention in this book or the last book compared to Gifted. Becoming Gifted, but that one actually threw me for a loop.
Well, apparently everyone's
anyone
supposed
else?
to become gifted. They're supposed to be born gifted. And they come into their power when they go through puberty, presumably.
Okay.
Or something
when
like
they have need.
So is it like a catalyst like that? Like a mom lifting a car off her kid kind of thing where everybody's technically could be gifted then?
I can't imagine that Brashada has been unneedful of gifts in her incredibly violent life.
Especially in that entire country where they have an entire like elite task force that she was a part of.
So I think something weird's going on with her, and specifically I would think it involves either Talcamar or Whisper, which are kind of the same thing at this point because he gave it to her. And one of my theories is that Whisper is stealing the essence from people and giving it to her every time she kills someone.
Ooh. Okay. I like that. That's interesting. I didn't think about that.
Yeah. Speaking of Whisper, my other point was we've got 3 named weapons so far, I think. Whisper, Licanius, and Knowing.
Yes.
We don't
Knowing? What is knowing? Can you remember?
Knowing is the
Knowing
one that
is-
Asha got from the Shateth.
Okay.
which was
Gotcha. All right, so we have
it was
3.
a Ciliar's.
All right. So yeah, we have 3 of those.
There's obviously more because Davian came across 2 more.
Knowing is
Or
probably
40.
the sword that was created in order to read Arkan David.
Do you guys remember who made the swords? Which one of the Venerate?
Alaris?
Nope. No.
Close.
Say
no.
first letters, right?
Yeah, the first letter's right.
Was Andrea?
Andre.
Yep.
Yeah.
Andriel.
Andriel?
Andriel. Who is Andriel? For 500, yeah.
Who is Andriel?
Yeah, he's one of the Venerate, one of the 11, and he's the one who created Licanius, and that Cadian had that flashback where, he was saying, I created Licanius and it's going to kill us.
He made the 5 named swords.
He's like, 7. Right. So we know 3 of them.
I want to know what their numbers are and which one was Whisper.
But so with the other, do we think that the other 2 swords that Davian came across in the Central Archive are the other 2 named swords?
I don't know.
I don't even remember that there was 2 swords specifically mentioned in that.
I'm pretty sure there were. There was because
Okay.
they were described. One was curved and one was not.
I very much wonder.
Well, I don't know if that'd be secure enough. I think for Talcamar to hide the swords right there.
Well, I don't know that
in the city that the Venerate all know to.
He just gave one to Brashada.
Yeah.
Like he cares.
I don't think Talcamar really cares about the swords other than Licanius.
He's terrible about people.
Yeah, you may have a point. Yeah, he's got his goal. He's like, if they want to have some fun, here's a cool sword.
You can have the rejects.
Do what I want you to do. Yeah.
You said that's his goal. That was like my biggest plot point in this series. It's like, oh, what is going on? What are the sides? Like every time he's talking to a Venerate, he's like, I don't know if you're on my side or your side. I'm like, what side? What are you guys fighting for?
All he knows is that he has
nobody.
Do you? And there's people against him. That's all he knows.
He just thinks that all of his friends are against him.
But to do what? What is there?
He doesn't know.
What do they believe in?
No one knows. That's why we're having all the flashbacks.
So I was trying to.
You're right.
They talk a lot about if I'm correct, they talk a lot about fate. I think that was the big thing that angered them. Is hey, do we have control of our lives, or is there a higher power that no matter what we do, we're still going to end up in this. In this place, and I just don't know who believes in which side of that argument and what what the goal is.
So they all kind of believe in the same side, but they don't believe the person who's been giving them the majority of the information about it.
Yeah, that's their thing. Is they believe that the L is actually the Shyamalan, the bad one, or is it actually the L that's the good one? They don't know. So that's why half of them are against each other, is because they think, no, all this time that's the real one, and the other one's like, no, that's the fake one. So they're all trying to accomplish the same means. And Caden's just like, I just want my friends to live, just don't attack me. And that's what I think is going on so far as the politics in this first half of the book.
I mean, it sounds like they're all so they're all after the
What's
same
that?
thing, which is peace, but how they go
No.
about it is different.
They are not all after peace.
Well, they were.
Yeah,
They
they're
used to
starting
be.
wars.
They're after
Yeah,
the
good old days.
concept of freedom from destiny.
Right. Yes, that's like the big thing.
Yeah.
Like, well, yeah, destiny and fate. That's the thing. But I still don't understand. Like, what if they agree that, hey, we want the fate in our decision. We want to be able to make our own fate. It's like, okay, so what are you guys doing? You're gonna kill. So what do you do to get that? And then what on the other side is someone arguing that no, like it's okay that they decide our fate, El or Shemeloth. I'm very confused. I don't know if that's purposeful, but it's very. I'm not sure. I don't know who to root for.
I think so, because I was also confused, and I was, I think that's none of us have missed anything that we should be knowing right now.
Yeah.
I think these are all just lots of hints. Yeah, you know what's going on. Hopefully,
no, I don't.
If you
I
don't,
can't remember.
and you're just like, haha, they're gonna get so lost, and I get to laugh at them. I hope that's not what's going on right now. Yeah. All right, Kip. We gave you a little bit of time. What do you think? Anything to discuss?
I love how Talcomar's big plan about this is how I'm going to keep Licanius is, well, the Earth will end and the Lith will rise up from their lava if anyone takes it from me and I'm unable to fulfill my plan. So anyone with like an ounce of self-preservation won't take Licanius from me. And even if I'm stupid, have no memories, no knowledge of how to effectively use my powers, it should be fine. And I hate that it's worked out for him.
I'm sorry, but it's just not strong writing. He should be dead right now. I don't know why they keep leaving him alive. Specifically, what's her name?
And even giving him like
what?
directing him
Mirlyah.
to like where he wants to go. They're like, "Oh, you need directions? Okay, sure. Here, follow me. I'll take you and show you the door to where you need to go."
Yeah. Elaris walks him down the path. All right, buddy, we're definitely on the different sides, and I don't agree with what you're doing, but I'll see you next time. What's going on? And here's your sword back.
That's what I. How do
they keep
know?
giving him the sword back.
They don't know that they're on different sides.
They're hoping that eventually he won't be on different sides. They're hoping to convince him by being nice to him that they're not such bad people.
Why don't they literally this whole half of the book, all the flashbacks are like, oh no, one of us died. That sucks. It's going to take a couple years to maybe even a decade to find him again. Why aren't they killing Caden and being like, that's fine. He's not with us right now. When he comes back the next time, we'll go grab him and we'll straighten it out.
Because they only have a year for the Licanius bargain. They're on the time limit.
But still, like, I feel like they'd be like, I could do a better job than this kid, and then just kill him and just take over.
He's literally holding the world hostage in his unknowing form. That was his master plan.
Great plan. Great plan.
I've been alive for 33 years, and the amount of conversations where I didn't know what the person was talking about, but I had to pretend like I did, it's too many to count. And every time someone's talking to him, and he's going through his head like, I definitely don't have the memory of this, but I got to pretend like I'm on. There's no way they would buy that to a certain extent. He keeps getting through these conversations.
He's only
I think Mirlyah called him out on it. Like, listen, you don't know what you're talking about.
Pretty sure they do pick up that he doesn't know what he's talking about.
They pick it up.
Yeah,
they pick it up. All of them pick it up real fast, and some of them imprison him for it.
Yeah, even the crazy one.
Yep.
Yeah.
Who still manages not to kill him.
I think because
I couldn't believe
his inability to be effective in terms of using his power and fighting back against them is really telling. That he has no idea what he's doing.
Owned.
Yeah, he's like a kid that they gave him crayons. They're like, here, go have fun. He's drawn on the walls. That's what I picture. Like, he's just getting beat up, and they're like, he can do this, but it's just so sad, and he just doesn't know what's going
And it's
on.
just the
So
same thing, like Kip said, over and over again. Someone just owns him one way or another, or he passes out with these memories that randomly hit him, like freaking seizures, for goodness sake. And they're like,
and
I
they,
guess I'll take the
They're like,
sword
oh,
since he
this
passed
is
out.
sad. This is really sad.
Yeah, it's,
yeah, and they
like,
give him the
this
sword, they pat him on his
Talcamar.
back, they send him on his way. They're like, "Good luck, kid. We got this war. Sorry, you ain't gonna
This
win."
is the guy who beat us.
So I was like, yeah, I did like meeting all the Venerate. Like, I
That was
do
cool.
really like that part. I think they're kind of distinct. I think it's fun to see the flashbacks of when they were all friends. But
Mhm.
the formula was like the same for
Yes, it
everyone,
was.
except we got a fight in one of them. But it
Yeah.
was like Isliar kicked his butt, and then he's like, "Oh, I'm passing out." And, oh, here's Alaris who comes right before I pass out, and there's a flashback between them. So it was just kind of that's what I kind of meant by repetitive. Whereas middle book, he's moving places, but it's like plot wise, it's the same thing. It's just which I don't know. It was fine, but
Yeah, his was more of a I get a little training montage of not really the powers, but just like, oh, he's on his way, da 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 da. Quick 5 minute scene, boom, gets his butt beat, and then he goes on his way to the
No,
next
no,
thing. He
no.
goes to the next, and you see a nice scenery
gets his butt
change.
beat, then he has a flashback.
Yes, yeah, you get the flashback, then you go to a new scenery, a new location with a cool, different city or whatever the landscape is that changes, which is nice. I did like those. He gets a little creative with his landscapes, so it's fun.
I want to know how
Understandable
we've
why there's
never
no one
heard of some
there.
of these before.
Where are these places, and why is there
They're
no
all
one
north of
else
the boundary.
there?
Are
Aren't they?
they?
I thought all of them. I thought all of them were. Like the way that they describe them, I thought everything that Caden is right now doing, he's doing little field trips all across the boundary. Yeti is no longer, for our listeners who cannot see, Yeti is trying to do his best blank face.
oh no, I was just gonna say one of the
Oh, that's his
places he
regular
just walks
face.
through.
I apologize.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
sorry.
my normal
I
look.
apologize.
He just walks through a waterfall in one of them, and he ends up someplace new. I'm like, okay, well, I can't get the geography
Nope.
of this
But
world.
I mean,
Entire there's like there's like a whole city,
look,
isn't there?
there's
That's
water
like completely
portals,
empty.
okay? Water portals.
Yeah.
Believe in the magic of
Yeah.
laminar flow. Okay.
Yeah, it's a lot being thrown at me.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff. All right. Did we talk about we're in Brashada
Well, we talked about
together?
Caden. I think if we're going to talk about cyclic loops, then we should talk about Asha.
Yeah,
Because she
okay.
follows
Let's
people,
get into
listens to
Asha.
them, gets almost caught, and then runs away successful.
I did like.
I did.
Oh, go ahead.
No, I was gonna say what you're gonna say. Go ahead.
Oh, okay. You liked that she got lost? I loved that she got lost.
I hated that she planned to
Because-
get lost.
I wanted her. I feel bad. Don't hear me out. I wanted her to stay lost, and she's there for like the whole book, or like you go multiple chapters and be like, "What's going on?" And then something happens where it's more than just, "Oh, she found her way out." I wanted something really crazy to be like, "Yeah, she found a portal, and now she's north of the boundary and runs into Caden or something crazy." That's what I wanted to happen.
She didn't have water.
No. That's true. She didn't have water. So her plan was to stay lost in the dark and hope somebody comes by
Yes.
before she dies of thirst
Yes.
within about 36 to whatever how many hours.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She hoped that there was only one way through and that they would be taking the same path going in as coming out, and that she could effectively tail someone in the dark without revealing herself, as she had already failed to do once.
That's true, but they knew she was hoping she'd get a different person. Like flip a coin, maybe it's not the dude that just purposely got her lost, and maybe it'd be like a crazy venerate person who's an immortal who's not paying attention to what they're doing.
Would you rather face a venerate or a Shateth?
I'll take a venerate because they're crazy, and I feel like I might be able to talk my way out. And even if I don't know anything, I'd probably talk my way through it. So
not all of them. She was crazy. Not all the venerates.
Are you sure they're not all crazy? Because have you seen what they've been doing?
Yeah, but
I,
I don't know. You just
I
gotta
like
pretend to
Alaris.
be on their side.
I like Alaris. I don't know whose side I'm on yet, and I've read these books, but he is charming me. Walking Kate into the waterfalls, that's a nice guy. But the Asha stuff. See, this is like what I'm talking about with this author. I really like the chase scene with the echo. I actually thought that was kind of suspenseful. I almost thought Asha was in danger, and I thought it was well written. But
That
also,
yeah.
oh, go ahead.
No. That's I agree. I thought that might be the spot where we actually kill your darlings and Asha dies. But I was like,
No.
she has to fulfill the not
Yep.
being
Yeah,
a
he
shadow anymore. I was like,
ultimately.
all right.
Right, right. But and then at the same time, the scene with is I keep messing up her name, Islier and the Shateth was kind of. It just felt like that was a scene that had to be there. So when Caden met Isliar, it made sense. You know what I mean? And also to fulfill the scene from the first book where that one Shateth says, you know, don't let that guy suffer. When she kills
Yeah.
whatever the
Second I
Shateth's name
heard
she
that
kills.
name, I was like, oh, okay.
Right. So it kind of felt like connecting the dots plot wise more. Like it didn't seem as natural. Like, oh, she has to be here because you have to witness this scene. The reader has to witness it.
Valir.
So I think some of those. Yes, thank you.
Mirlyah, what did you think about Asha and her situation for this half of the book?
Ugh, I think that she's just a plot tool at the moment.
Yep.
That's fair. Yeah, I think we're probably all close on the same page for that one. Yeah.
And also like terrible romance stuff. I get where she's like, "Oh, I can't hang out with those boys," you know, and Davian's the same. No, I can't hang out with this girl. What are you guys doing? You guys have no chemistry. Like, just,
They've
you
known each
barely
other
talked
since
in
they
like
were
2 books.
students. They're destined
How long
lovers.
were they students?
Not
2.5 years? Was it middle school? I don't get
How
it.
old are they
Uh,
supposed to, they're supposed to be like 18 right now, or are they 16? I don't
yeah, high
remember.
school,
I don't
right?
know.
I mean, it's all roughly
So
the same at this point, but yeah.
I think teens, maybe Caden's early 20s, not counting the millions of years he's lived as an immortal. But yeah,
I'm just
Yeah.
I don't know. It keeps forcing that with Asha and Davy, and I'm like, listen, spare us. We don't need this. I'm sorry.
I think they might still kill her. I'm hoping they actually kill her before the prophecy and be like, wait a second. The prophecies aren't coming true now, and people just start dying. That'd be cool. It'd throw me for a loop. But I'm not sure if the book is gonna go that route. All right, so we talked about Asha. Have we talked about and his
we have not talked about
weird,
Weir.
Weir's trip to the countryside after an assassination?
We need to talk about
So he
Weir's
gets a new
bodyguard.
romance. Yeah, he gets like two new romances. He gets set up with a dude's daughter that fails, and then he meets Steiner and almost gets assassinated, and then he leaves, and yeah. So Weir bumbles his way through a lot of
He really
stuff.
does bumble his way through.
He's a bumbler. Okay.
And the book is trying to convince me that he's like found this new backbone and steel inner core, and I'm like, dude, you seem to be failing hardcore.
His bodyguard has more backbone.
Yep.
We need to talk about his bodyguard.
I actually was sad. I was like, they better not kill him in the assassination. I was like, I actually like the bodyguard. I was like, come on, please don't.
I
Please
I
don't.
keep thinking the bodyguard better not be a traitor. Because I like this bodyguard.
Well, every single character we meet from book 2 onwards, we have to make sure, actually, just this entire series, if their letters are anywhere close to the Venerate, they could be the Venerate. So you have to be very careful.
It's
Okay.
Nethgala.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think Andon's a terrible bodyguard. He took a bolt to the gut for the first assassination attempt. I was like, oh, well, he didn't even take anyone out. I was like, well, very nice guy. I like his personality.
I mean, yeah, he didn't. his skills weren't really good, but he still did his purpose, which
Look, all I care
was
about is his
not let his
status.
dude die.
Yeah. His
Well, he
Yeah.
didn't let the guy
Yeah.
die.
I mean, he lived and we're lived at the end, and everybody else didn't. I feel like that's a success. Okay, I feel like he won in
Yeah,
that
that's
book.
success.
He's like the Secret Service. He just takes a bullet.
Yeah.
Yeah, he is. Yeah, and he's better at relationships, so I think he's going to guide Whir a little bit. And then
That's not a high bar.
I know, but I feel like he's got a lot of work cut out for him, and he'll take that task.
Weir is definitely also the least covert romancer in the palette.
Oh, just
Yeah.
accidentally
he's
bumping
kissing.
into.
Oh, hey, you again. I know.
Yeah.
Like Caroline wasn't great, but Weir is worse.
But
She's like,
I want to
"Meet
get.
me
I
at
almost
this
want to give him
place
a pass
every
but-
time. 5 p.m. at the bench. No one will ever suspect. It's like, oh, there goes the North Warden with that girl again. This is not weird.
That's true. I do want to say I do feel bad for him for his family though. His family life, his situation is a little bit rough. Mom hates him.
Yeah.
His dad really hates him, and he thinks his dad loves him because that's coming out soon, and he's gonna be like, "What? My dad hated me too." Yeah, your dad hated your guts.
You
Yeah,
mind control my dad
his
into
sisters.
saving my life. You must die.
Yeah,
That was probably my my favorite scene of the book so far. Was the scene between him and his mom. She is like, she's coming out on fire. I love it. I love her. She felt the most real to me. She had her like virtues, or she hates people who are gifted. She doesn't care that you're your son.
He
You're
locked
dead
up
to me.
her daughter.
I was like, oh, this was
She's a monster.
yeah, she's
Terrible
a pretty
person, but
ruthless.
I'm surprised she didn't try and like poison him.
I don't think she.
well, we're only halfway through.
I think
She was-
her conversations showed that she still cared just a little bit that he was actually her son, but only because she's like not gonna like go out her way to kill him, but mostly just like she doesn't want anything to do with
I
him.
think that if
It-
he hadn't threatened to defend himself with the gift, she would have ordered him killed. Like,
Well, we'll never know, will
at that
we?
last bit there. Like
Yeah.
if he had been unconscious in that last scene, if he had a fainting spell like Asha's, like I don't think he would have woken up again.
Like, okay, I guess maybe.
I just felt like she was one of the more believable characters.
Or would have woken up shackled in a basement.
I don't like Wurzman. Who locks up their daughter?
Yeah,
Honestly.
yeah, it's
A
pretty. It's
lot
pretty
of noble
brutal.
women.
Yeah, I mean, I guess she is just. I don't want to say a standard fairy tale queen kind of thing, but
She's
kind of
got
like
something else going on. She's a bit shifty.
Well, I think she's definitely she's in some kind of organization.
Oh, yeah,
So-
definitely some sort of like
she's definitely up to
underground
something.
administrators. Might possibly be an administrator herself.
Mhm.
And
It could be. I could see the North Warden having that set up, like the original North
Yeah.
Warden, not
They say that
Aaron's
she
North
was
Warden,
she
having that
was
set
an
up.
administrator before. I'm pretty sure they actually
Was
said
she?
that she
She used to
was
be.
an administrator.
Yep.
but I can see her being part of the like shadow administrator group.
Hmm. Yeah, like the secret right hand of North Warden.
Yeah.
To go like past the boundaries of the law and be like, okay, here's my wife setting up stuff. We need this taken care of. They'll go and do that outside of the law. I feel like they might be something like that.
I hope she's at least that interesting.
Well, I think she's just, I guess, real in a series with a lot of heightened villains who are immortal or have these big things. She's just a woman who has a lot of hate in her heart, or a person with a lot of hate in her heart, and she sticks to that hate despite having a son who you
Yep.
would think. I just feel like there's a lot of people who have tough family situations who where they always say you should always love your parents, where it's like parents can be kind of not me. I have a great family life. I love my mom, but
You
I'm
heard
just
it here.
saying-
Yeti has terrible parents.
yeah,
All of them listening.
But
we apologize.
she just felt like a very human villain and makes me, as Mirlyah said, hateable. Like I detest her more than I don't know Nefgala. Well, actually, maybe not Nefgala, but like is Isliar. She just like right when you meet her, you're like, oh, this person is detestable. She, like you said, she locks up her daughter and makes her son feel like absolute garbage. So that's why I liked her introduction. I'm like, oh, we have a little more of a grounded evil person in this story.
For me, there was just a really weird disconnect of her hiring her own private guard that she controlled and her dismissing the King's Guard after an assassination attempt on his life. Like, to do those two things and then just let him go, that seemed weird to me.
Yeah, the letting go was a little weird. I
You think she
forgot she
tagged
did that.
him?
I was like,
I think
I don't
I
know.
think she was
Or
in
renewed a
she was
trace.
intending on killing him, I think, and then she didn't.
Yeah. Okay.
no, that's a bold move to kill the North Warden, but
Do you think she
I
was
understand.
involved in the
Yeah.
assassination attempt?
No,
oh, maybe I didn't even
I
think of that.
I think Signer was more involved in that.
But Signer didn't seem like he was actually involved in the assassination attempt. He just took advantage of the fact that there was an
Well, that's what he
assassination
said.
attempt.
That's
Well,
what he
I mean,
wants you to think, Mirlyah. Come on.
also,
This
who
Signer.
is anyone in this series? Everybody's the same person.
All right.
I mean, it could be anybody.
Everyone
Okay?
is Caden, everyone is Davian.
I was
Yeah,
just
I
gonna say, I'm pretty
agree.
sure
They're all
everyone's
the
just
same.
Caden now.
This is all dissociative identity disorder of one man who is in every single buddy's person. It's like, this is everybody.
The
That's
waters
it.
of renewal is just a revolving door.
All right, so I think we touched on Wur and his family enough for this one. Oh, the weird kiss at the end with Prashada. Called it. I called it.
you,
Prashada and
you did
Wur.
call it. You did.
Yes.
Yeah, yeah.
I was not expecting
Um,
her to become gifted randomly. I didn't see that coming.
I was not either. No, that one threw me for a loop. But no, what I did for that one to call it, just in case you guys are wondering, I picked Wur and any girl he has not interacted with or had any chemistry that is within 20 years of his age, and I was like, that's the one. That's what's gonna happen. Yeah. So if you guys want to make similar guesses,
Oof.
you can use my formula. Just credit your sources. That's fine.
Well, I
Okay.
don't think there's been a misdirect around Davian and Asha. I think that is actually endgame.
No, I agree. With yeah, Davian and also I think what they're trying to do with Caden and Kara.
Okay. Aelric, who's he going to end up with? Are there any female characters left?
What's her name? With Ferris? What's the augur with the
Ishel?
F name?
Oh,
Very
Fessy.
Fessy.
No,
Michelle.
Fessy. I'm thinking
Fessy?
Fessy.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. Elrock was Fessy.
they both got a similar sense of honor. I can see that.
Yeah. Or with Aaron. Feel like they could do something like that, but I don't know if it's
I've
gonna
lost
go.
hope for any sort of LGBT pairing in this series.
I feel like
Yeah.
Aaron
You
is
don't
the
feel
one
any
who's
gay
gonna
vibes,
die.
Kip, anywhere?
Not anymore.
You think? Hold on. All right, sorry, we're getting along on predictions, but Merle, you think?
I think Aaron is the one who's
Aaron.
gonna die.
Okay, that's our kill your darlings. Our
Yeah.
next one who's
I don't
going
know how
down.
much of a
Okay,
darling he is, but yeah.
I know. Well, I mean,
Yeah.
I
I'll be
do
devastated.
kind of consider him one after what I learned what he did with the North Warden, because basically he is Wur's father.
He's got a deathbed confession to make about that, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Weir's gonna be there when he
Right.
dies, and he's gonna feel remorse, and he's gonna blurt it out in his mind.
Yeah, he's gonna whisper telepathically, "I'm your father." Yeah, I could see that.
Yeah, Where's gonna need therapy after that? Between that and his mother.
He already needs therapy. It's just gonna get worse. Okay. All right. Let's go to we've kind of already talked about Caden a little bit. Have we talked about Davian at all? Not really.
What's to talk about,
But
Davian?
well, I did like that he had the anti-Davian. I like the anti-Davian, which is Rowan. That was kind of cool. It was basically the exact opposite, as if there was a spectrum on a wheel where Davian's here and Rowan's on the opposite side,
Yep.
I guess. Um, I feel like that was thrown in by the author saying, hey, there's some hard parts to this magic system that are systematic that you could maybe guess, but I feel like I still don't have enough information to figure out what's opposite to what and stuff like that. So
Rowan was an
I don't know, just teases.
interesting way to put a heist storyline into this book.
Yes, that was wrapped up before the halfway point.
Yeah, a heist like side adventure.
Yeah, it was like a filler.
It was
episode,
very much,
which
yeah.
I didn't
Yes.
want at all. But we got it, and I was like,
It
okay,
brought us into the vault where we saw some swords and other vessels.
that is true, and we got some tension, and we got some more Aaron with Fessy and Davian together.
And we got Davian not completely draining someone into dust, which is an upgrade.
Well, almost did. Held off.
I didn't want. I wanted to. I was like, this guy, go ahead, do it. This is it. I know he thinks it's a slippery slope, but sometimes you just gotta pull the trigger, man. Like, come on.
He killed so many trees, and he doesn't care about. His priorities are interesting.
Okay, so this is a mathematical equation for Kip, our leader here. How many trees is Rowan worth killing for?
Ooh.
What's the tree to Rowan life ratio?
Okay, so I think as soon as a tree gets above like 30 feet in height, it's worth more than Rowan.
Just one?
Yes.
Okay. All right, that's pretty good. Yeah, this dude's a master manipulator who basically subjugates everybody to his will and is just an awful person. I wanted him to die as soon as Davian's like, I'm glad I didn't kill him. Like, no, should have killed him. Hopefully he dies soon. Mirlyah, what are your thoughts? Same with Yeti. We've heard Kip, at least, and myself on this one.
Yeah, I don't like Rowan. I didn't like Rowan when they first introduced him, and he was just like, everyone loves him. He's the most handsome man that everyone's ever seen.
Let's run a fun numbers experiment.
Yeah.
How many people do we think Rowan has raped?
We're talking probably triple digits.
Well, the problem is, it would be hard to say whether or not it was actually rape because the way that his powers work is that they convince the other person that that's what they wanted all along.
You know what he could do? Communicate entirely via text.
Can he write? Does he need to write? This strikes me as a guy who would never learn to write because he's like, I got what?
He has a moral imperative to learn.
Powers, but still. Yeah. Well, I don't think moral imperatives are going to be in this series very much, or at least not with these characters in this world, maybe. But we'll get a couple, I'm sure, but not Rowan. Not Rowan.
I want to know why we hadn't heard of Rowan before this.
That's what got me, is that this came out of nowhere, and then it also ended really quick. I thought maybe he'd be like the semi-bad guy working for an organization that's in this.
He still can be.
Yeah, I know they didn't kill him.
Nope.
Wait, didn't they kill him?
No.
I just put the amulet around him to stop his powers.
Yeah.
Oh, right. He's tortured continuously. Right?
Yeah. They dragged him away.
Maybe they'll make a little mini boundary around the city with him being tortured. That'd be cool.
That'd be interesting.
Until he dies. Yeah, a little mini battery.
Talking about the power source of the Ilshara.
Yeah, the torture batteries. Kip, did you have any thoughts on that?
Well, I think it's pretty clear that the backup supply is Asha and all the other shadows.
That wasn't clear to me. I didn't think about that. You think that's why they've started getting their fainting spells?
Yeah, because the Venerates have been released from their draining chambers, and so it's falling back on a different power supply, probably through the vessel called the Siphon.
Okay. So do you think what the way to remove shadows then is when the boundary completely fails?
No, I think it's by destroying the Siphon.
But that would still destroy the boundary.
I think when all the shadows die, it would destroy the boundary. Yeah,
but not all the shadows are going to die.
I mean,
or at least until Asha.
I mean, if
gets
If the
unremoved.
boundary gets weakened enough and it gets attacked enough, it might drain all of those shadows completely of their essence and kill them all, and then the boundary would go down.
Are you thinking we're gonna get like a Sandman thing where pretty soon like one more Vener gets released and then all shadows go comatose or something like that, and everybody's trying to figure out why?
Possibly.
Okay, that'd be fun. I mean, not for the
No,
shadows.
not for the
but
shadows.
It'd be fun for everybody who gets to play the investigator role and figure out why and what's going on. What about you two? Yeti, what do you think?
They'll put Asha on a big stone beer and underneath a crystal thing, and then it'll be a Snow White moment when Davian
Aww.
crushes the siphon
Get
and
a
releases
kiss?
her with a kiss. Oh yeah.
Yeah. And then a tree blooms and they're like, this is for all the trees that I've killed. Yeah. It's gonna be beautiful.
Write that fanfic.
Beautiful
Write that
moment.
fanfic.
We could do that. We could do that.
I don't have any comment on the siphon stuff. I'll just stay away from
Okay.
that kind of topic.
Yeah,
But
that's a good point.
Regards to Rowan and stuff. Have you guys? I know Kip has. Have you guys read Mistborn at all?
Yes. Yeah. The original series has
reminded-
been a while, but yeah.
Yeah. It reminded me of that book too, and kind of. I haven't read in a while either, but the Zane storyline, where it's kind of disconnected from the main story, well, to an extent.
Yeah.
Just like a new kind of villain who's formidable to the main character in their own way. That doesn't seem like, at least, I don't know. It just felt like a book two villain type of thing in the way that Zane was. That's how, like you said it pretty well. Soulution, where it was like a what'd you say, like in a middle episode, a filler episode, or something like that.
Yeah, it's
but
a
one that
filler
I did
episode
like.
of like an anime show.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what I mean. Like I did like it, but it did kind of, it just seems so disconnected to, I guess, bigger things. Although, other than Caden, I don't know what else is connected to the bigger things, I guess. But
Well, you do have a good point that comparing it to Mistborn, because Mistborn, Brandon Sanderson did mention that Zane specifically in that book too was meant to have a bigger role, and when he edited it down a lot. And I feel like the way that this series has been edited down also got the same treatment for Rowan. It feels like that, and that's a good point that you mentioned it, because yeah, it feels like he probably was going to get more stuff, and maybe that stuff got turned into other characters or just cut away a lot, and this is just what was left to make his storyline make sense and move a couple things along, like getting Aaron and them together. He could, it could still be a big part. We're not sure, but yeah, I feel like that may have altered his book to plotline a little bit.
feels like something for Davian to do. This
Yeah.
whole storyline.
Well,
way to test his strength.
we know that Augur abilities
without
can be
going over.
sealed. So like maybe that part of him could get
Oh,
sealed. I still hate him. And I don't want to help him.
No, he's a little bit beyond redemption in my eyes. Yeah. All right. We've talked quite a little bit about everything, so let's get into some least favorite, and then we'll go into our favorite scenes, and we can talk about a little bit of that, and then we'll wrap up with some predictions. So, Yeti, why don't you hit us with a least favorite? Because I don't want to give Kip too much time on this one.
I mean, I think I got all mine out. To be honest with you, I have written down, why didn't anyone kill Caden? What?
Okay.
There's the Caden flashbacks are nonstop, and I said, what is going on with Caden? What is his goal, or what is? So I had a lot of Caden stuff, who is my favorite character, but I had a lot of nitpicks. Again, I've said a lot of stuff. I think just him clearly being the main character and not having so many repercussions that he probably should have, any other normal character would, was a little frustrating, I guess. But yeah.
No, I understand that. Similarly, I have Asha was mine. Was that I mostly just was annoyed that her only plotline was getting lost and then finding her way out of a tunnel for this half of the book, which this book is substantially bigger than the first book. So we stopped at like 400 pages in, and last time it was only like just at 300. So we were a little over 400, and I was like, oh, the only thing this girl's done is go get lost, listening on some conversations, and then find her
Well,
way out.
that's mine.
Yeah,
That's
yours
mine.
too.
Yep.
Okay. All right. Mirlyah, why don't you hit us with your least favorite? You got one, or are you joining us on
Mine
that?
is just the introduction of Rowan. I don't like that guy.
Okay.
Get rid of him. Why isn't he dead?
Yeah, it felt like a TV show where someone opens the door and all the applause, like it's a live show, and they're all clapping, and he just shows up and everybody's happy, and I'm like, we don't know who this guy is, and everybody just seems to love him. Okay. All right.
There
Well,
was
I feel
one
like we.
fun thing that came out of that, which was Davian developing another spontaneous magical ability, which no one had ever heard of before, and the ability to construct a hardened con sphere inside himself.
The funnel that was able to filter as like a almost like an osmosis thing,
It was
wasn't
like a
it?
storage unit for essence inside his body, so he could go longer
Yeah,
periods in an essence-free environment.
yeah. Remarkable control for someone who's just learned how to do any of
Yep,
this.
yep.
Yeah. It's another point. We're gonna mark that down in the Davian is actually Caden and Talcomar
Yeah,
theory. That's going in
thank
there
you.
because I feel like Caden is not acclimating to his powers as much as Davian is, and I feel like there's a correlation there. Okay. I mean, he's still learning his stuff. He's got thousands of years of experience.
Just a
But
little bit of
anyways,
news
okay.
that we had Davian learning from Malshash and then subsequently teaching
Right.
Caden.
There's
Yeah, that's
I'm,
right.
Davian's just had a lot
I'm
more
gonna have
help.
to
He's got a
draw
lot of
that
people
out
training.
at some point because I have a strong suspicion they are indeed all the same person. How many
Yeah.
times is the Waters of Renewal going to get used in this story? I have to know.
Listen, at the end of this trilogy, I guarantee you guys will be mapping out timelines. I'll just put it that way.
Sure,
Oh no.
sure, okay.
My brain can only take so much of that kind of
Because
stuff.
there's a
Like,
classic grandfather paradox built in there if they are the same person.
yeah. Yeah, because we really
Or
don't
no, it's
know
it's a
much
it's
about
a
Davian.
bootstrap
So
paradox is what that one is. Sorry,
yeah,
that
it's the
one's the
bootstrap.
bootstrap.
Yeah. Mhm.
What there was one other thing that I wanted to bring up, and that was how does everyone know that Caden is Caden and Talcomar? Because he keeps changing forms and bodies and whatever, and yet they still instantly recognize who he is.
I think from his essence reserve.
Oh, you think there's a
Yeah,
signature?
I think he's got the biggest essence reserve out of all the Venerates.
Maybe. Or Licanius. No, like who else would have
Either one.
Licanius
Yeah, right.
but Talcomar.
Because like Isliar just knew he'd be in the one place. Delana, she's like, I know he's going there, so that's why she's just the only person hanging around there. She attacked. Meldeer, he freed. I don't know how he knew.
Or it could just be
Same
that
with
like
Lars.
out of the remaining like 3 or 4 male venerate left,
Yep.
which one doesn't know anything and would actually be around doing this kind of stuff? And we're like, this sounds like a
Right.
Talcomar
Maybe
plan.
it's his dopey
Because I know everybody
eyes.
else is hanging out in our country. Yeah.
Maybe it's the dewy-eyed freshness on his face. I don't know.
Yeah. No, that is a good point. I don't think we were given a clear answer on that one. So we're going to have to make our own guesses on that. Which I'm fine with. I like making my own guesses. Yeah. This is magic. All right. So let's get into our favorite scenes because I actually kind of liked Davian with his new 2 Augur friends because I feel like their chemistry may actually be kind of fun. I don't know if anybody else felt the same way, but I did like Aaron and Fessy with Davian.
Sure.
Because he's like, oh, Michelle's not here. He's like, all right, I'm gonna go do my own thing with them. We're gonna get, we're gonna save the day. So I thought that was kind of cool. Even though it was like you said, it was like I said, it was like a filler episode, but it was one I liked because I liked seeing them kind of get to do their team up.
Did you buy them tricking Rowan, like their plan, how it worked?
Yeah, he's not smart.
Or was it him and Aaron didn't tell them?
He's never needed to
He
be
didn't
smart
tell
in
them
his
half the
life.
plan.
Yeah, I mean, I trust Aaron because Aaron was basically North Warden for years. So
Yep.
I feel like if anybody could plausibly be like, I got a plan, be like, all right, this dude's probably got it. He's good at controlling people. Yeah.
Yeah. Still dubious with Aaron. So he had to pretend to be the North Warden even to his wife. I guess they said they
Uh-huh.
barely even talked after that.
Yep.
Yeah,
But it's
because he
like,
didn't
wow.
want to blow it.
Yeah, he had a lot to juggle doing that. I mean, he had to know politics real well. He had to know family stuff.
He
His
had to
daughter
be
to even talk to
married
his wife.
to a wife,
Right.
and the wife's like, you're different. Yeah,
Yeah.
Control
he's a kid.
definitely seems like the hardest ability to reliably maintain, right?
For how long? For years.
For
That's
years.
crazy.
Oh, he did it quite well.
Yeah,
I
it's
mean,
borderline unbelievable.
Yeah, that's my point. I'm like, I don't
like I
unless
said,
he's
he's a
ridiculously
veteran.
powerful.
He's a veteran. He's got to
Needs
be.
Davian.
If you it's like Voldemort. If you rearrange the
Yeah.
letters in his name, does it come up
Also
to
Davian.
anything that's close to a veteran
Nothing
name?
we know of, no.
See? I expect that one E, two R's, an A, and an N. Now there are multiple, or no, at least there's at least one with an A and two R's in his name. That's why you got to think this way, because this is exactly how I think it's
I
going to
have
go
the whole
down.
list of veteran. Who thinks they can name the most out of the
Oh
11?
geez, I know I can't.
All right, let's finish the favorite scenes
Okay,
before we
sorry.
go into trivia questions. Okay. Kip, then what about you? You got a favorite scene?
I really liked the scene in Alcathronin, I think.
Which city is
That's
that one?
the
You got to describe the
that's the
landscape
final
to me
city
so
of
I
the
remember.
builders with the laminar flow waterfall surrounded path. And I really
Okay.
just like
that scene
that
too.
piece of architecture. I think it's very cool.
Yeah, that was kind of cool.
Very cool piece of
Yeah.
architecture. That's my favorite thing from this book.
All right. Yeti, what about you?
Architecture.
I mean, the architecture is cool. That's totally fair. I
I
liked
did.
a lot of stuff.
Yeah. No, I like that place too. So that's where he was talking to Alaris,
Yep.
right? Yeah. Just I mean, I really like that scene in general. I think it's clearly setting up that out of all the Venerate, that maybe this is the one that Tal Kamar had the closest relationship to. Alaris. I mean, they're setting him up to be kind of his, I wouldn't say rival, it seems like, because he's the first one we met, right? Like in that backstory with him and who we now know as
Good.
Galandrid, when he
Is
had the
that
3 tests.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I feel like Alaris has been weirdly, slowly fleshed out in a way, because we meet him then. We meet him in the Dokken, and now he seems like he has some sympathy for
He was
Tal.
also the one that the story was about, right?
Yeah, it was him and well,
The one
Galadriel.
who lost his wife and his wife was actually
Yeah.
good and he didn't trust him.
Yeah.
Yeah, that one.
Right. That
Yeah.
was hilarious. But that was also the other Venerate too, which was another cool scene I'll go into, which when Tal first met Galandrid, and he was the one who
Cassandrid?
I just remember Cassandrid. Well, I keep calling Galandrid. Yeah, Cassandrid. And we're at the end of the thing that Caden's like, this dude's just crazy. This dude's like unhinged, even though he comes across as like calm and cool and collected. But that guy, he was the one who was in the Alaris story with the 3. That was the person who gave him the 3 tasks. So I thought that was interesting. But yeah, I'll go. I mean, I said I like the where his scene with his mom, kind of that standoff. It was kind of tense. It seems like it got ugly. Everything came out, and again, I just really like her introduction into the story, and specifically into Where's life to kind of make things a little more difficult for him and make him a little more human. I mean, he bumbles through a lot of stuff, but having a parent who clearly despises you for what you are, I mean, that could go how many LGBTQ, trans or whatever people feel that way. How about
it's very relatable to just so many people. It's good.
Yeah, a parent that actually having a distaste for your kid who just all he is gifted, right? It's something he chose.
Hmm.
just how they are. So I don't know. I really like that. And on top of his dad actually hating him and not knowing yet, I think is going to another. I think is going to add to his mental stress.
Yeah, I can't wait for him to find that out. That's gonna be a fun scene to read. I'm excited for that. Mirlyah, what about you? You got a favorite scene?
So I agreed with your favorite scene, and I liked the Fessy, Aaron, and Davian little heist scene, and I thought that was cool. I quite like Fessy and Aaron. They're a cute little pair.
Yeah, I like them because they've been. I feel like they actually feel like they've been friends forever and just work well with each other. So it's fun to see them team up with other people and get thrown into that mix. So even when Asha was with them in the beginning in the first book, I did not like Asha with them, but I liked seeing them interacting with the North Warden and Asha and their other dude who died, Cole.
Cole.
Yeah. R.I.P. buddy. Too soon.
Way too soon.
Yeah, well, too
Someone had
soon.
to go.
I know someone did have to go. I didn't think they were going to kill one of the main characters in the first book, but I did think they were going to kill somebody in this book, and I still do. So I guess let's hop into predictions. Kip, do you have anything wild? Anything you want to talk about?
I think Fessy and Aaron are both expendable. I think so is Ishel, but less so.
No, I think that's reverse, but okay, keep going. Keep going.
What else? I've already been clear about my siphon predictions.
Mhm.
And we already know that the reason that Malshash stole shapeshifting from the Ath is in order to prevent her from trying to impersonate his wife again.
Yeah.
And
Which you lost because Caden has not changed.
maybe.
No, 100%. The reason Malshas was changing every single
Yeah.
day was so that so we
We
know
we
Nethgala
don't
is
know
already
if
out there,
Malshash is
obviously.
still floating around somewhere.
In the
In
current
the current timeline,
timeline,
we have
that's
no idea.
Talcamar.
We've
No,
got
that's
no
Talcamar.
idea if there's Talcamar and
No, but it
Malshash
goes
floating
by
around at
the
the same time.
age. No, it goes by the age. So if Malshash years ago was taking up that, it's Nethgala can transform as soon as Malshash and is not in that timeline and it's Caden. So when it's Caden,
I'm saying we
we
have
know
no
at least for the
proof
Pessi.
that Caden doesn't have two copies in this timeline.
Well, I thought that Davian is his other copy.
Yeah, see? And neither of them have changed daily. Okay.
Okay, three
So yeah.
copies.
Yeah, there has to be at least 3 copies for that to be plausible, which I find a little tough unless everybody's a copy. My big one is I think Kara is already Nethgala.
Oh.
Yeah. Yeah. So probably wrong. And I feel like we're gonna be like, oh no, she's gonna become Nethgala. I feel like maybe she already is. Yeah.
We
We'll
should have
see.
talked about Nethgala more, but next episode.
There's not a lot we can talk
Forgot to
about
do that.
Nethgala about other than that like she's this existential romantic threat that's hanging around Caden's neck.
She reminded
I mean,
She reminded me of Lanfear a little bit.
I mean, yeah, she does.
yeah. I feel a little bit more for her just because I guess if I lived in a terrible torture hell place for your entire existence, I'd want to escape too. And, you know, although I probably wouldn't be chasing after the same guy for
Yeah,
thousands
it's
of
more
years.
fish in the
I'd be like,
sea. What are you
cool.
doing?
I'm like, I'll go live my life and do whatever I want to do. I'm not in hell anymore. That'd be
They're
great.
linked though. She has her love.
See, that part I don't believe. I guess it makes sense for this, but I mean, I would just bounce. I'd be like, cool, you can go do your own thing. I'm gonna go be immortal and do whatever I want to do. I totally get wanting to escape a hellish
Yep.
plane of existence, though. So I don't blame her for that. Even if it did kill the wife, like I'd be like, did she really know? Like, she's just incorporating the body. The only fault I have with Nithgala is trying to trick Talcamar over and over again. Like, I don't like what.
And she kills
It's-
the person. I
Yep.
mean, she murders them.
Yes,
I mean,
because
not
like
tricks,
why?
she murders that
You
person.
can't
takes over their
shapeshift unless
body
you kill
for life.
them.
Yeah. Well, they have to be dead. You don't have to be the one killing them,
Well-
but they do have to be dead. Yeah.
If you want it done in a
That's
timely
the easiest
manner.
way. Just take...
Yeah. If you want to know, if you want to make sure they're dead, yeah, go ahead, you can kill them. But okay, okay. Do you have any more?
Oof. There's something else that's important in Alcathronin, and we're definitely going back there.
I'm sure we'll do another montage with the other people, not Caden. They'll hit some of these other places and like follow them, kind of like an anime show where they're like, "Ah, we got to go find our buddy," and they hit all the same places,
You
and they're
could do a
like, "Oh, you
hilarious
just missed him."
Scooby-Doo like
It's just-
hallway scene on the Alcathronin bridge. I don't think that'll happen, but you could do one.
Okay. Well, Mirlyah, do you have any? What do you got?
I don't really have any more than what's already been said. I do agree with you that I think that Kara is already Nethgala.
Yeah.
Just based on
See?
the scene in the last book where she got attacked, and then she just looked at Caden funny.
Yeah, she's been a little fishy. Yeah. And that was before we knew. And we know this author likes to drop little hints once in a while. Yeah.
Yeah. I can
think
see that.
I think Nethgala's already impersonating someone in the main cast, and that's probably Kara. Yeah. Because I know it's not Asha. Because she's not in love with Caden. So it's got to be the one that's in love with Caden.
Maybe it's his little sister. Maybe it's
Wait,
Weir's
you mean
little sister.
Weir's
Yeah.
little sister? She's also been weird. I think she's just being controlled. She's being controlled by somebody. That's what I think.
Did we ever? Because one of the Venerate died during one of the flashbacks, and they're like, "Oh, we might not see
Oh.
her for like another 20 years or something."
But is
I
it?
forget which one that was.
Starts with a D and it's like 5
Yeah.
letters, so I'm like,
It was short.
all of these
Diara?
5-letter female
Diara?
names. Diara.
Yara. Yep.
Now the flashback. Do we know if that was roughly when 20 years before, when the kids were probably born, or like 15, whatever. I think she's probably like 15.
I think it was before
Hmm.
Talcamar became Arcane Devade.
Yeah.
So
It was when
probably
he
a
was like
couple
still
hundred
being
years.
his merry group of adventurers.
Okay.
That was fun. Would you call it, Kip? Like an overpowered D&D
It was an
group?
overpowered
Or
D&D group.
Venturing party? Venturing party?
Yeah. Yeah. It did feel like that. They hit
I
all
read
the
a short story
classes.
collection. Just those guys kicking butt.
Yep.
I don't know.
And one dude has unbreakable skin, so he's the tank. It's fine.
Yeah. It just reminds me more of anime. Although I've been watching a little too much. I gotta cut
Oh
back.
yeah, no. It's a
I've never.
like D&D 5e definitely doesn't have the schematics for making characters this powerful.
Yeah.
It's outside
Well,
that framework.
Level 20 is still pretty good. Yeah.
You can't just
Alright,
crit on the guy with unbreakable skin and damage him.
No, you can't. No. There's a lot of
Yep.
rolling. All right, I have one last prediction, and I'm curious what you guys think. I think Shamaloth and L are actually the same entity.
Ooh. That would negate so much of the storyline.
Yeah. But I think it's there because that's the whole point, is that all these people are trying to this is the real. I was like, no, it's the same thing. You guys are all fighting for the same thing. You're just fighting together.
So you think that the same being who
That
created
created
everything
And now is
also
trying to
ruined
destroy it.
everything and is trying to destroy it.
Yes. Yes.
Okay. Just
The same being that they've never seen again. And now they see someone that claims to be that, but is also working to undermine everything. I think that's the same being. Yeah, I think they're both the
I
same.
mean, that's the same. That's the same. Both sides as what Caden is, so to speak. Talcamar and Arcane Divide. One's trying
Yeah,
to destroy. One's trying to save.
more foreshadowing that the entity that created the entire universe is just the same.
I don't know the answer.
Please tell me
Wouldn't be
Waters
the
of
first
Renewal
time.
doesn't
I
work
don't
on a
expect
god.
you. Yeah. Was that
Please
Tim?
tell me Waters of Renewal doesn't work on a god.
Anything's possible in a book. Okay, you know that.
Well,
If your mind can think it, it's possible. Even if it can't, because somebody else thought of it. And they were like, hey, this would be cool. They were like, yeah, you're right. We should put that in there.
but they've also
So that's
they've
exactly what
also
they're.
gone through the whole philosophy of what is a god. So maybe he's not actually a god.
Right.
A
Well,
god.
yeah, I mean, all sufficiently advanced technology is magic kind of thing, where,
Also,
it's on such a higher plane compared to where these are gods to the humans. This actual god is a god to these gods, the Venerate. So,
in D&D, everyone, there's some people who are like, level 20 adventurers are basically gods. And I'm like, no, they're not. They've got hit points.
yeah, you can take them down. Yeah. All right. Any other predictions before we wrap it up with Yeti's trivia?
I predict. Well, I don't really predict. I just
Yeah, you're
predict
not
there's
allowed.
going to be more. It's not a real prediction. I just
Okay,
predict
okay.
there's going to be. We didn't talk about it because there's nothing to talk about. But I predict there'll be more Terrace in the second half of this book. I feel like he
Oh,
was. I feel like he was just.
yeah, he wasn't.
He was in
he
the
was
background for a
underutilized.
lot of stuff.
Because we had no
Yeah,
Asher. Because the two of them are apparently linked.
Yeah,
I know.
she's
She
got to
got
eavesdrop more.
lost.
She's got
She's
got to
lost in a
eavesdrop
cave.
more. What are you doing?
Yeah, that's true. Yeah,
So
I'm
I
missing
predict he'll
players.
be a bigger part.
I hope
Okay,
so.
okay. Well, this last half, I'm excited. I do think one of these main ones got to die.
I think Terrace is going to die.
Wow. I think he's gonna live because I think it's too obvious that this grizzled mentor dies. I think one of the kids have got to die.
Don't the grizzled mentors always die, though?
I think multiple of them can die.
Yeah, and most of
Terrace
them have
might
already
not die
died.
till next book, but I think he's dying at some point.
I guess no, but I don't think they're gonna kill where they're not gonna kill Davian or Caden. They gotta. I know they're gonna play by the rules. They gotta unshadow Asha before they
They
kill her.
do. And they got to tempt her to go somewhere. They got to like
Yeah,
dangle Davian in
yeah.
front of her, and that hasn't happened yet.
Bavian buff. He's got to get buffed too. So we got to hit a time skip. So maybe time
Yeah,
skip
we
end
need
of
more
book 2 to
Bavian.
book 3.
Severely
Yeah.
lacking.
Yeah, there's been
Or
a
do you think
severe lack of Bavian. It's true.
do you think we get a time skip inside of this book where we get multiple years? No,
No,
you can't. No,
no.
because we got to finish the list. We have to
Yeah,
finish Caden's 1 year, and then we can do the time skip. So that happens, then we get the time skip where everybody gets buffed.
we have to
That's what it
free the
is.
lava people, but not too
Everyone
much.
gets buff.
Not too much, just a little bit, just a little bit of freedom on the chain. It's like a dog gets to be in the outhouse. They have the little chain, and it's like they can go to the end of the
They
yard.
get
But
they
that's
get to
it.
go to the surface, but they got to stay inside the city walls. I don't know.
Mm-hmm. Well, I think that's a new battery. Maybe all the shadows are going to be the new battery for, you know,
Maybe.
the lift, and then the old boundary goes away.
Yeah.
Okay, so we've done enough incredibly wild and wrong theories. I'm sure. Let's go to Mirlyah first, maybe with the Venerate guessing, and see how many you can get on Yeti's list of 11, and he'll give you a number. Does it sound good?
Do I have to do this? Let's go.
I'll go first. If you want, I'll go
You could
first.
you could all guess as three. If you how many
Okay,
all
okay.
three of you
You
can guess
guess
as a team.
one. I'll guess the next one, and then Kip will guess, and we'll keep going until we can't think of
Sounds
any more.
fine.
Okay.
So we had
Okay. So you take the first
we
one.
had Diara, which is why I've just mentioned.
Yep.
Okay. We had Ishalia, is how you say your name?
Mirlyah.
Ciliar, yeah, she's crazy.
So, yeah, there was an R in there. I did miss the R. My bad. I added an H instead. You could probably give me a wrong one for that. Kip, what do you have?
Cassandrid.
Yeah.
Okay. Mirlyah.
Alaris.
Yep.
Damn it, that was the one I was gonna take. Okay, we got the.
There's definitely an obvious one.
It's Galanadrid. It's not Galandrid because I'm thinking Lord of the Rings. It's Cassandrid.
That was mine.
No, Mirlyah just said
That was
that.
mine.
Right?
I said it.
Oh,
Yeah.
that was.
Said it.
Damn.
Yeah, someone said it.
No, I'm done.
Like,
that's it. That's all I can't.
You're missing like a super big one.
Meldia.
It's very popular in this
Oh,
book.
Talcumar. Yeah, Talcumar.
Talcumar.
I got
right.
Talcumar. I'll take the easy one.
Meldier.
Yeah, Meldier.
How do you guys remember this stuff? Oh my gosh.
He was locked in the.
There's Andrael.
Yes.
Yeah, created the swords. Now it's getting tricky.
Yes, now it is.
We have 1, 2, 4 left. One of which we met. The other 3 were only named. This one we met him very early in this book.
Very early in this book.
Okay. Asar was one, wasn't he?
Yep.
Yep, Asar. Yeah.
No,
and then there's 3 who we haven't met yet.
I'll never guess the last 3. Yeah.
Lear, Lyr, Tysus, and Wrath, Wreth. I can't read my own hand, but those are 3. Okay. I don't think we've met any of them. So.
No, I don't think so.
We've met someone of the Lear, right? I don't know. Maybe
that
not.
Doesn't ring any bells.
Lear's been mentioned.
Yeah, definitely been mentioned. Okay, cool.
Yeah, Asar names them all after, like when he meets Caden in the beginning of the book. Mm-hmm. He said, "It's like, who are these people you're talking about?" He's like, "These are all the Venerate."
Yeah, Caden doesn't know much, does he?
Nope.
But he's getting there. He's only gonna know as much as the reader gets to know. I feel like he's never gonna get thousands of years of memories back. It's just gonna be like, yeah,
he will. He will.
Right?
He'll get memories back that we won't know about. There'll be a sequence where it's like, and then all of a sudden he knew.
Oh no!
And then
I don't like those
we'll
kind of
go through a like dramatic showdown with the evil guys, and then we will, as readers, will get surprised by what the final solution is.
I don't like that. I don't want it to be true. I don't
like. No, it is true. You know it's going to be true.
From the reader, a plan. I know, but I don't want it to be true. I'm still gonna bet that. Hopefully, he just never gets his memories, and this is Caden. Caden is the new iteration from Talcumar Arcane Devad to Caden. It's just gonna be like, yo, I'm Caden. I don't have a last name. I'm just Caden. That's it. It's like Prince. Okay.
He's gonna turn into a rapper.
Yeah, he could. He's got the skills, I'm sure.
I don't know why that, like, whatever you said, Soul, brought this back to me. But with Kara, when he's explaining everything he did, and she's like, "Hey, I don't care about the stuff you told me and the stuff you didn't." And I want to be like, "Well, the stuff he didn't tell you is like a bunch of murder. Are you pretty sure you don't care about that?" And he even says, he's like, it was so funny. He was like, "I told her everything, except for this, except for," he named like 5 main things except for that. It's like, well, you didn't tell a mass murder. I don't know what to tell
that's
you.
That's a little bit reminiscent of when he told, what was his other.
Just a scotch. Just a scotch.
Second wife.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And
yeah,
I couldn't help but laugh.
I'm with you on this now, Mirlyah.
That's where I think it's Nethgala is Kara, because she's like, whatever you told me is fine. I'm like,
yeah, and whatever you didn't tell me is fine. Know.
Like, well, yeah, I'm like, yeah, you
I don't know.
What is with this?
I need to know a little bit.
What is with this idolization of Elavia? That she would think that her husband could do these unforgivable things, and like, yes, I mustn't be forgiven because to be forgiven would be incredibly evil. Like, I don't know.
Well, he doesn't. What do you mean? Like, because he thinks like the big thing is like Elavia wouldn't ever forgive him for what he did, and like he kind.
But he thinks that like that's the right thing to do.
The right thing is to not forgive him. Because he's never going to forgive himself.
Well, I think that's a big. I don't know. Would you? He went on a murderous rampage of innocence.
He did quite a lot. Yeah.
I
think that's a big thing. Are we going to forgive Caden? I know he said he's like, from now on, this is new me.
I mean, I
didn't do that stuff.
until we lose Caden as the Caden that is the primary
How
identity
many
of
memories does it
this
take till
person.
we lose Caden?
When
Do
we
we
get
ever?
a time skip and we get the he remembered everything, that's when it's like, all right, Caden's gone.
And then he
That's no
stabs
longer
himself with
Caden.
Licanius.
Could be. We don't know. Maybe that's what saves him. I do want to see more Lith.
Maybe maybe he puts himself in the torture machine and powers the boundary for himself, which then allows the what's their names, the fire people, to go up to the surface.
How noble.
I feel like he could do that. If he does that,
He does that, it's kind of the
there
end of the
is definitely
series.
already another copy of him out there somewhere. No. Like Caden is
Yeah.
gone, but then we have Talcamar's back, and it's like, oh,
No, then we have
Malshash. Malshash shows up to Davy and is like, hey, what's up? Like, hey, what's up, man? He's like, hey, I'm actually Talcamar and Caden.
And so are you.
My real Cadence. Yeah, and so are you. Our real body is stuck in a boundary, a little torture battery.
And so is
with a
Asha,
list.
which is why you
Whoa.
can't sleep with her.
Too far, Kip. I don't think this series
We get a
is that
Skywalker
bold.
moment.
Okay. Yeah. All right, I think we're getting a little off the rails
Okay,
here. I'm going to end it unless anybody else has anything they want to get into. No? Okay. All right, thank you, everybody. This has been the Green Team of the Legendarium. I want to thank Craig from the main podcast for allowing us this little corner of the media empire. I want to thank everybody else for getting us started for the Green Team. And then our music is Galactic Damages by Jingle Punks. We will see you guys next time for the second half of whatever Licanius Book 2 this is called, Echo of Things to Shadows of Coming, something like that. We will see you for the
Echo of
last
Things to Come.
450 pages and when all of our theories and predictions come true. Have a good night.
Night.
Yeah.
Okay,
See ya.
here we go.